What is the Bible really about? Most people think the Bible is mainly a book about rules, morality, history, prophecy, or personal salvation. Those things are in the Bible, but they are not the underlying story. The Bible has one central story running from Genesis to Revelation. That story is about rebellion against God's right to rule. It began in the spirit realm. An angel rebelled against God. That angel became Satan. He did not simply make one bad choice. He challenged God's authority. He presented the idea that intelligent creatures would be better off deciding for themselves what is good and bad. That challenge did not stay in heaven. It was brought to earth. In Eden, Satan used the serpent to speak to Eve. He suggested that God was holding something back. He implied that humans did not need God's direction in order to live successfully. That was the real issue. Not fruit, not a tree, not one isolated act of disobedience. The issue was rulership. Who has the right to decide what is good and bad? God, the Creator, or created beings, acting independently from Him. Adam and Eve chose independence from God. By doing that, they joined the rebellion. The result was sin, and through sin came death. This is why the world looks the way it does today. The Bible does not present suffering as normal. It does not present death as part of God's original purpose. Death entered human life because humans separated themselves from the source of life. But Satan was not alone. The Bible shows that other angels also joined his rebellion. Revelation pictures the dragon dragging a third of the stars of heaven with him. That points to a massive angelic rebellion. About a third of the angels supported Satan. So the issue was much larger than Adam and Eve. It was not just a human rebellion, it was an angelic rebellion that pulled humanity into it. That is why the Bible is not only about saving humans, it is also about settling a universal issue. Can intelligent creatures live successfully apart from God? Is God's rulership loving, just, and necessary? Or was Satan right? God did not destroy the rebels immediately. He allowed time. Not because he was weak, not because he was indifferent, but because the challenge had to be answered completely. If God had destroyed Satan, the rebellious angels, Adam and Eve immediately, the question would still remain. Was Satan right? Would others have wondered whether God silenced him before the evidence could be seen? So God allowed history to unfold. Human history became the evidence. Every empire, every war, every injustice, every false religion, every failed political system, every attempt to build a world without God, all of it has shown the same thing. Humans cannot rule themselves successfully apart from their Creator. At the same time, God began revealing the solution. In Genesis 3:15, God gave the first prophecy. He foretold a future offspring who would crush the serpent. That prophecy is the foundation of the Bible's entire message. From that point forward, the Bible follows the development of that promise. Noah's day showed that God will not allow wickedness forever. Abraham's family became the line through which the promised offspring would come. Israel was formed as a nation to preserve true worship, reveal God's standards, and prepare the way for the Messiah. The law showed what righteousness looks like. The prophets kept pointing forward. The Psalms, the history, the covenants, the judgments, and the promises all supported the same central story. God would produce the promised offspring. That offspring would undo the damage caused by Satan's rebellion. When Jesus came, he did what Adam failed to do. Adam was perfect and chose disobedience. Jesus was perfect and remained loyal. Adam chose independence from God. Jesus submitted fully to God. Adam brought sin and death to his descendants. Jesus gave his life as a ransom, so obedient humans could be released from sin and death. His death was not a defeat. It was part of the answer. It proved that a perfect human could remain loyal to God even under extreme pressure. Satan could not break him, not through temptation, not through suffering, not even through death. God resurrected Jesus. That proved that Satan's power is limited. It also proved that God can restore life. But the Bible's story did not end with Jesus' resurrection. The rebellion still had to be fully removed. That is why God's kingdom is central to the Bible. God's kingdom is the government that will end Satan's system and restore God's purpose for the earth. Jesus, as king, rules from heaven over the earth. This kingdom is not symbolic human idealism. It is God's answer to failed human rulership. At the appointed time, Satan's world will be brought to an end. Those who remain loyal to God will survive into a new world under kingdom rule. During the 1,000 years, Satan and his demons will be unable to deceive mankind. The earth will be restored. Humanity will be brought back toward the condition God intended from the beginning. Suffering will disappear. Death will be removed. Peace will become reality. But there is one final part of the issue. At the end of the 1,000 years, Satan is released for a short time. That final test proves who truly wants God's rulership, not because they are forced, not because Satan is absent, not because they have never seen another option, but because they know the truth and choose God from the heart. Those who follow Satan reveal that they still prefer rebellion. Those who remain loyal show that the issue has been settled completely. Then Satan, the demons, and all rebellion are destroyed forever. That is the crushing of the serpent's head. The rebellion that began in Eden ends permanently. After that, the universe is secure, not because free will has been removed, but because the question has been answered. The evidence is complete. Independence from God has been tested. It has failed. God's rulership has also been demonstrated. It is righteous. It is loving. It is necessary. And it leads to life. That is the underlying story of the Bible. The Bible is not just a book about human salvation. It is the record of how God answers rebellion, vindicates his rulership, defeats Satan, restores humanity, and brings creation back into harmony with his original purpose. Everything else in the Bible supports that story: creation, Eden, the flood, Abraham, Israel, the law, the prophets, the Messiah, the ransom, the kingdom, the 1,000 years, the final test, the destruction of Satan, and the restoration of all things. That is the Bible's core message: God's rulership.